Hello everyone and welcome back. I am as always Inquisitor Aura and this is how to roleplay in World of Warcraft, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Sunwalkers. Please note that these are just the generally accepted guidelines to socially acceptable and lore-friendly roleplay in World of Warcraft. There is a niche for every type and style of roleplay out there, and what I am telling you here are the generally accepted guidelines that will not get you ridiculed, laughed at, picked on, ignored, or shunned. Years of spiritual speculation and questioning have uncovered a key overlooked aspect of balance amongst the Shuhalo tribes. Aponi Brightmane and Tahu Sagewind have, over the years, had a number of theological discussions about the balancing out of the Night Elves' focus on moon worship. Both concluded that something was missing. The moon has its counterpart. They discovered that revering the light in the form of Ansha, the sun in Tauren mythology, was practiced in their distant past. To properly revere the Earth Mother, Brightmane and Sagewind revived the practice of sun worship, countering the cultural prejudice that was rooted in Night Elven Druidic teachings, and reformed two splinter groups, the Seers and the Sunwalkers. Today, we will be focusing on the Sunwalkers. To understand the Sunwalkers, you must understand the Tauren's relationship with the Earth Mother, and no, I don't mean Therazane, though she also bears the title. The Tauren's Earth Mother is much more nebulous and more of a world spirit than a specific being, a representative of the whole of life and death and all of its aspects. When the Tauren started relearning to become druids once again, it after all had been about 10,000 years between the War of the Ancients and Vanilla WoW, they started learning at the feet of the Night Elves. The Night Elves, who had long ago began shunning sun worship in order to solely venerate a loon called Musha by the Tauren. This is something that they passed on to their Tauren students. The Earth Mother is the Tauren's ideal spirit of everything, who acts as sort of a universal consciousness from which all things spring and to which all things return. Everything that is part of the Earth Mother's body, and Ansha and Musha spin in the bowl of the sky, acting as her eyes to watch over her children always. However, when the Tauren once again began walking the paths of the Druid, they learned it at the feet of first Malfurion's Stormrage and the Night Elves of the Cenarian Circle, and then Humul Rune Totem, who of course had relearned it from Malfurion and Cenarius. These teachings, while freely given, were colored with Kaldorei prejudices, and as such, the newly taught Shuhalo Druids learned that it was Musha's light that they called upon. This train of thought deeply bothered Tahu Sagewind, then a druid, who believed that by following the Night Elves' teachings, they were not upholding the tenets of their own faith to maintain balance in all things. Tauren warriors fight only when necessary, Tauren hunters take only what the tribes require to live. This idea spread quickly to Aponi Brightmane, a Tauren warrior who had spent much time fighting the Scourge during the combined Horde and Alliance assault on Icecrown, and together, these two Tauren rediscovered the lost paths of sun worship and learned how to call upon Ansha's power in battle, thus creating the Sunwalkers. Now, while Tauren Paladins function much like traditional light-wielding paladins, it is important to understand that many of them used to be traditional druids, and many of them still might consider themselves to be druids. The term paladin is not something the Tauren have. They understand the concept of the paladin, but they do not worship the light, which again is primarily an alliance belief. That is not to say that the power wielded by the Sunwalkers isn't the light. It simply means that that's not how the Tauren view it. The Sunwalkers believe they draw their magical abilities and their strength from Ansha, and unlike Paladins, Vindicators, or Blood Knights, a Tauren's belief in both the Earth Mother and Ansha gives them the conviction, confidence, and willpower to control the power granted to them. Gameplay-wise, they are paladins, but lore-wise, they are Sunwalkers, and while they have allied with the reformed Knights of the Silver Hand, they aren't Paladins. The word Paladin, at least in Warcraft, carries a weight with it, a purpose steeped in the teachings and the tenets of the light. Such a weight cannot be associated with the Sunwalkers. Yes, they have a duty, but not to the light. Their duty hasn't changed. As with all Tauren, no matter what path they walk, have a sacred duty to uphold the Earth Mother's balance. It is a duty that is shared across the tribes, and the Sunwalkers serve to maintain their part of the balance between Ansha and Musha. As such, the Sunwalkers have a very different view of their power than the common Paladin. Most Paladins, and others who use the light, satisfy the light's requirement of conviction and willpower by upholding the tenets of the light and the Naru. The Taurens satisfy this requirement simply by trading off belief in the light with belief in the Earth Mother. Remember, the reasons the Sunwalkers exist is because there was an imbalance in the teachings of the Druids. It did not rise as a separate, church-like entity like it did in the human kingdoms, but as a balancing part of the whole. That being said, the common ground they do have with all the other Paladins of Azeroth is their militant nature. Remember that Musha is supposed to be gentle, even though both Musha and Elune have a warrior, darker aspect. Ansha, however, is her polar opposite. Ansha is fiery and bright, and many Sunwalkers also come from warrior stock. In this, the Sunwalkers and the Paladins have found mutual agreement, which allows them to ally together and be extraordinarily useful in battle. The Sunwalkers are fiery, fierce warriors, unique and blessed by Ansha with the power to balance the Druid's moonlit path. Well, that is going to be it from me for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. I also have a Patreon. The link is in the description box below, as well as up in my channel header art. So if you want to help me improve my video quality, make sure you stop on by and donate. Remember, your donations go directly to things to improve the quality of my videos and may lead to more videos per week. Anyways, guys, thank you again so much for watching. Have a great week, have a great weekend, and I will see you again in Azeroth.